Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Complete Guide to Buying and Selling Apartment Buildings, 2nd edition, by Steve Berges. Narrated by Lofbomm. Publisher's note: this audiobook refers to exhibits, tables, and appendices included in the print and e-book editions of the book. Chapter 1. Introduction to Multifamily Ownership. The light of integrity. The soul is dyed the color of its thoughts. Think only on those things that are in line with your principles and can bear the full light of day. The content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become. Your integrity is your destiny. It is the light that guides your way. Heraclitus. Introduction. The systematic acquisition of real estate properties over time is unquestionably one of the surest means of accumulating wealth. While building a respectable real estate portfolio is a process that can take months or even years, the patient and diligent investor enjoys a high probability of earning above-average returns for his or her efforts. Careful analysis, however, is required for each and every property considered. Proper analysis is not limited to a simple review of the property's condition and location. To be successful in this business requires a more exhaustive approach. This book is intended as a guide to developing a format for a thorough examination of each and every property you are considering. This format, when properly applied, will provide you with a significant competitive edge. It is my intent that by following the guidelines in this book, you will no longer arbitrarily determine value as it applies to real estate. Rather, you will truly understand it. By the time you're finished listening to this book, you will know why a multifamily complex, for example, is worth only $700,000 instead of the $950,000 the seller is asking. Proper understanding of this single principle can be the difference between success and failure. While listeners of this book are likely to have broad and diverse backgrounds, you do share one thing in common: your interest in real estate. I will attempt to be as thorough as possible, because some listeners are likely to have little to no experience, while others are seasoned professionals searching for that edge. This being the case, those listeners who have a great deal of experience may find some of the material to be a bit basic. It is crucial, however, to lay the proper foundation for those who are not as experienced. Many listeners have most likely purchased single-family houses at one time or another, and have at least a minimal degree of rental property experience. Holistic approach. In addition to providing a comprehensive approach to analyzing, buying, and selling apartments, this book also offers a holistic approach that will enable you to more fully achieve your true potential. Personal examples, inspiring stories, anecdotes, and quotes are used throughout to stir your mental faculties and encourage you to reach deep within yourself to fulfill your dreams, whatever they may be. While understanding the mechanics of multifamily transactions plays an important role in the level of your success, it is my personal belief that the stories and examples used throughout the book are what will truly enable you to become successful, not only in real estate, but in life as well. I cannot help but feel that the hand of Providence guides my writing from time to time, as thoughts flow freely from my heart and mind with little or no effort. After the first edition of this book was published, I received overwhelmingly positive responses from people who were inspired for one reason or another by portions of it. For example, one kind lady named Melinda was so inspired she felt compelled to contact me, which she did only a month ago. Melinda, who is from New York, had just suffered the loss of her husband a few short weeks before. I listened to Melinda's story for well over an hour with empathy, as she described how despondent she had felt after her husband died. Not sure where to turn, she happened across my book, and after reading it thoroughly, felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that somehow everything would be all right. Melinda's kind words of gratitude left me feeling appreciative that, in some small way, I had been instrumental in lifting her spirit, even if only for a moment. Recently, I received a call from a gracious gentleman named Lambis, who lives in Athens, Greece. Like Melinda, he too had just finished reading this book and felt compelled to contact me. Lambis explained how he had been in one of the largest bookstores in Athens, searching for a book on real estate investing. When he asked one of the employees where the real estate section was, he was told the bookstore did not have one. Lambis explained to me that this was due to the fact that there really is no real estate market in Athens, because families rarely move. In other words, once a family purchases a house, they stay there for most of their lives and often pass the house down from one generation to the next. As he was perusing the economics section of the bookstore, however, he came across a single real estate book, which just happened to be this one. Lambis then proceeded to tell me that he would be flying to the States in 2 weeks and would like to meet with me. Feeling honored at such a request, I readily agreed. While Lambis arranged his flight schedule, I arranged my work schedule to set aside an entire day for him. In fact, it was just last Friday that the two of us met. Lambis, a most remarkable man, shared many fascinating stories with me over the course of the day. He told me of his grandfather, a prominent engineer, well known for his numerous contributions to major projects throughout the city of Athens. He told me of his father, another distinguished engineer, who built one of the most respected companies in Athens, employing over 4,000 men and women. He also told me of the devastating setbacks his father experienced due to the oil embargo during the late 1970s. Lambis explained that, although his father had built a vast empire, there was one primary flaw that contributed to the ultimate demise of the family's business. His father's management style was extreme control in every facet of the organization. It was this unwillingness to relinquish control and delegate responsibility to his senior managers that set the stage for the inevitable collapse of the business. When the oil crisis occurred, it was as if one leg, and then another, was knocked out from underneath a three-legged stool. When one leg is removed, the stool becomes very unstable. And when the second leg is removed, the stool has no choice but to fall. Rather than declaring bankruptcy, Lambis's father spent the next decade liquidating the company's assets in an effort to repay as many of the debts as possible. During that period, his father, once a Greek icon of monumental stature, suffered a series of no less than 10 heart attacks. He passed away in 1991 with his majestic honor, his noble character, and his impeccable integrity fully intact. Saddened by this tragic loss, Lambis vowed not to repeat his father's mistakes in his own business affairs. It was apparent to me that he had indeed learned from his father, as Lambis is today a successful businessman in his own right, with a management team in place that allows him to freely come and go without the day-to-day oversight required by most business owners. Background. A confluence of events from my own life experiences over the past 20-plus years has provided me with unique insights on the real estate market. 3 primary components have contributed to my experience. First and foremost, like many of you, I have bought and sold a number of both single-family and multi-family properties over the years. As principal of Symphony Homes, www.symphony-homes.com, a residential construction company, I am a current and active investor. Second, my experience as a financial analyst at one of the largest banks in Texas has provided me with a comprehensive understanding of cash flow analysis. Working in the bank's mergers and acquisitions group, I reviewed virtually every line item of the financial statements of related income and expenses for numerous banks that were potential acquisition candidates. I spent 8 to 10 hours a day using a fairly complex and sophisticated model to determine the proper value of these banks, given a specific set of assumptions. Since leaving the bank some years ago, I have developed my own proprietary model, which I now use to assist me in determining the value of multifamily properties. The beauty of understanding cash flow analysis is that once you grasp the concept, it can be applied to anything that generates some type of cash flow, whether it be banks, apartment complexes, manufacturing businesses, or fast food restaurants. Finally, my experience as a commercial mortgage broker has provided me with an inside look at the lending process. More specifically, what the lender's underwriting departments typically look for. This book devotes an entire chapter to this subject, and I am confident that it will enable you to present a property in its most favorable light when you're seeking funding. Although I had bought and sold real estate for a number of years prior to my experience at the bank in Texas, it was after I gained a more complete understanding of the principles of finance learned during my graduate studies at Rice University
Sample complete. Ready to continue?